The City of Cruz. Old and new clash, and crime runs rampant as the citizenry struggles to survive. There are many secrets here, dark things that normal people turn their eyes from. One young man has made it his personal mission to save this city. Using his martial arts, special gadgets, and wits, he takes on the robbers, rapists, and crime lords. Wolf is a symbol of justice for as long as he can keep his own demons in check. But not all demons come from within. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're reviewing Order of the Spirits, Fragments. And Fragments is a good title for this book. It's less of a full novel and more of a collection of short stories, an introduction to the world that the author has created. You may have gathered from my intro that this is kind of a shonen Batman thing, and you're not entirely wrong, but there's more to it than that. Let's start with the Order of Spirits itself, the group which the book is named after. The Order is an ancient and semi-secret organization that exists in two different planes, one being the real world and the other being Underrealm. The Order seems to serve the purpose of protecting humanity from demons, monsters, and things from Underrealm. We don't get a terribly good look into exactly what the Order's workings look like or even its hierarchical structure, but we do get a good look at several of its members. Wolf, the character who was featured in the introduction, takes on more of a loner vigilante role in the real world, choosing to use his gifts and considerable ability to fight against the crime lords that have taken over his hometown. Sandra, who eventually becomes known as Swift, is a girl who got too close to Wolf and ends up as his second apprentice. Nemo is one of the Knights of the Elite and seems to be a de facto leader. Sarah is a battle mage and appears to be Nemo's love interest. Reveiw, the swordmaster, Lothar, the heavily armed axeman, Alex, the gunslinger, and Nick, the telepath. These last four are members of the Knights of the Elite, a group of highly skilled warriors who seem to exist purely for use by the Order in any capacity they may need, whether it's hunting demons, scouting enemy armies, or acting as generals, which leads to an interesting point about the Order itself. While it often acts as a protecting force against demons and monsters in the real world, in Underrealm it seems to be a de facto governing body for the human population, as Knights of the Elite outrank almost everyone they meet in any governing body. The Order also appears to be thousands of years old, and gaining admittance to their ranks seems to come from just a willingness to learn, or a complete lack of other options, and knowledge that the Order exists. Now here's where we touch on the stories. This is going to be a little bit difficult because the stories themselves are very short, and I can't tell you much without spoiling them in their entirety, but they can also be divided up into two separate categories, save for one, stories that focus on Wolf and stories that focus on Nemo. As I said in the intro, Wolf feels very much like shonen Batman. His story centers around trying to clean up the city in which he lives of the various crime lords and less savory elements. Through coincidence, he happens to leave his cell phone after meeting with a drunken Sandra. The cell phone has an odd marking on it, which sparks Sandra's interest in him. After Sandra stalks Wolf for quite a while, and a near-death experience, Wolf decides it's okay to teach this girl how to fight, and how to do the various things that he does. Due to a particularly eye-opening conflict, Sandra becomes troubled about what her city has become and her family has become. Wolf then takes her to Underrealm in order to train under Reveiw. He does this partially to protect Sandra, and partially to protect himself. The story then shifts to Nemo and the Knights of the Elite. Before we get into that, I do want to touch on the fact that both Nemo and Wolf are aware of each other, and both seem to hold a great amount of respect for the other. Wolf seems a little bit jealous of Nemo's ability to socialize and lead with others, and Nemo seems envious of Wolf's ability to plan and quick thinking under pressure. Nemo's stories focus more on Nemo and his group hunting down a demon who once posed as an emperor and breaking the siege of an army of vampires on a human settlement in Underrealm. Nemo himself is a very capable fighter, but fairly poor planner. He doesn't seem to be built to lead from the back, and he has a very adolescent crush on Sarah. That being said, he is still remarkably capable in his own way, though less so than Wolf. Here's where I talk about some of the things I liked about the book. My favorite parts were actually the training with Sandra. Wolf, Nemo, and the other characters who already start out in the Order are already remarkably competent. There doesn't feel like there's much growth in the early chapters among those characters. Sandra, on the other hand, during her training is dealing with a whole new world of concepts. She takes it very seriously, and it makes her mental breakdown at the realization of her world a little bit more understandable. We get a little bit of fleshing out of Underrealm as well, about how there's not really a sun in the sky, but red fiery light behind ever-present clouds. Being a sucker for good world building, this really delighted me because this is where the demons are from, several of which cannot stand the sunlight of our world. There's also a complex method for moving between the worlds, and side effects for doing it wrong. I do wish there had been more explanation and detail into this, but I assume we'll find that in later stories. There are also demons, which I do enjoy reading other people's interpretations of demons. The demons in this universe seem to thrive on chaos and destruction. Instead of blood, they have black smoke, which often emanates from their eyes. Demons also don't seem to have a fixed form or power set. They're simply chaotic beings that exist for one reason or another, and are always a threat when they appear, whether they be smaller demons or near world-ending demons. There are also several other monsters, such as the Sawdry, which are very vampire-like, but it is made clear that they are not demons. They're taller, stronger, and in many ways smarter than your average human, but they lack wisdom. I get the feeling I would have been much more enamored with the story back in my early 20s, during my shonen phase. That being said, though, the world is very interesting, and the characters are fairly well developed. I would really like to see a longer form story showing someone's trip through the trainings of the Order to gain an appreciation for just how strong everything else in this universe is. But I do like that the demons and monsters in this universe are still something that a human can kill. Humans are a significant threat to them, and they are a significant threat to us. In other words, power is power, which has always been a concept I really liked in fiction. But if you've ever picked up a Japanese light novel, if you ever enjoyed stories about vigilantes, the supernatural, and the mix of them, this book will keep you entertained for a while. It's a fun set of stories, and that's really all you can expect from any book. And with that being said, I will leave you all to your readings. If you enjoyed this review, please like, share, and subscribe. If you're an independent author who would like a review of your book, please follow the link in the description and leave links to where your book can be purchased and where people can get in touch with you. Thank you.